Hey, welcome back. So dumb. Didn't I try to do that? Ugh, that's what you're supposed to do. I feel like an idiot. Yeah, sorry. The past 2 days I talked so much about the Bible stuff. I feel like as I'm talking about it, I'm like, this isn't the most interesting thing in the world, but I'm just doing it because I want to remember this stuff. Like, there's stuff I read today that I already forgot. Like the Shem and the Ham thing. If I don't say it out loud, I'm going to forget it. And I don't have any other opportunities to say it out loud. So, that's what this is. I'm just trying to remember stuff. Do I have a key? So maybe one more day with the Bible stuff, sorry. I saw that Vault commented a couple times this week, which is nice. If you're still watching, or if I lost you with all the Bible talk, probably. It's always nice when people comment. And they're just like, hey, this thing you said, I have something to say about that. And I'm like, oh. What I said is interesting. Those spikes are grooving. Put some techno music under that. What do I do? Oh. That was a text. I get so many texts when I'm doing this. Like, I'm not a social, like, it's just my parents. I should probably turn that vibrator thing off too. Okay, Samuel. Yesterday I talked about all the books up to Samuel. Samuel is a pretty interesting book. Samuel is a prophet. He might even be a judge, one of these judges. And he has a couple sons, and he's basically like, yeah, I want my sons to be, they're going to take over for me, and they're going to be the leaders when I'm gone. And the Israelites are like, no, we don't like your sons. They're like weird and drunk all the time and stuff. So the Israelites are like, give us a king. We want a king like all the other nations. And Samuel talks to God, and God's like, I don't like kings. I'm the king. I'm the only king you need. I'm God, remember? And Samuel's like, but these people, they want a king. What am I supposed to do? And then God's like, okay, I'll give you a king because you want one. But I don't like it. I'm not going to like it. God doesn't like that. That's the first part of the Old Testament that I kind of like too. Where God's like, I don't like kings. I'm like, yeah, me too. I don't like kings either. There shouldn't be kings. Kings are kind of like idols. So he gives them a king. The king, well, we start off with the story of Samuel, which is, there's another prophet before him whose name is Eli. And he finds this Samuel. It's always like, that happens so often in the Bible where the prophet just like finds this guy who, because that's what Samuel does with David. He just kind of finds him. He's like, you're going to be the next king. So Eli finds Samuel. Samuel becomes the leader. The prophets had so much power because they're just like, God told me that you're supposed to be king. And everybody's like, oh, okay. I get up there? I can kind of look. So they want a king, and so Samuel gets a king from the smallest tribe of Israel, the Benjamites. And he finds this guy Saul, and Saul's like, oh, I'm just like this nobody, why do you want to pick me? Everybody's like that. And then cut to 5 years later, and they're like murdering everybody like Moses. Like, oh, I'm just this weak little Benjamite guy. And then 10 years later, Saul's like killing everybody and like the king, and he's like, I gotta kill David. So Saul did a bad thing. So okay, Saul's king, but Saul does a bad thing. He conquers a land, and this is so weird. He makes a sacrifice to God, and Samuel's like, you're not supposed to do that. God told you not to make sacrifices. He told you to destroy everything. And Saul's like, what? I thought we're supposed to make sacrifices to God. Samuel's like, no, I told you. You're supposed to make sacrifices to God, but not with the stuff that you steal from the people that you murder, the towns and the cities. Because those are like tainted by the people who worship the false idols. So Samuel's like, you're not going to be king anymore. Your kids aren't going to be king. God wants a new king. So Samuel finds this kid, son of Jesse, the youngest son, and David's like, oh, I'm just the youngest son, it can't be me. But Samuel's like, of course, it's gotta be you. It's always you. It's always the youngest, weakest, smallest person. That's nice. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. I like that. God lifts up the smallest of people. But he lifts them up into murderers. It's like, well, I like the idea, but I don't want to be a murderer. Shwink. Should I just shoot arrows at him? I got a lot of arrows. Good. Ow. Don't die. Is he blocking them? Come at me. Get that whiz robe. I got maneuvered you. Oh, come on. Give me the stupid whiz robe. Get him out of here. There we go. It's not dead. What's he doing? Okay. Now I'm good, right? This is hard. Go. Give me the hearts. What's happening? I gotta kill these wizards before they keep making bad guys. Get him. Ooh. Eesh. There's another one. Where is he? Oh, there was 2 whiz robes. Yep. God. I'm just gonna shoot you with arrows. There we go. What was I talking about? So distracting. Oh, I need these. I need these. I need these. Okay. No! Where is he? God. Is he dead? Please be dead. Please be dead. Please be dead. Nope, he's up there. Got him, got him, got him. Got him. Oh, he was like a super whiz robe. Okay, we're good. No, I just have to kill this guy. So David becomes the king of the Israelites. He's the best king ever, except for when he does a ton of terrible things, but he plays the lyre really good, so we like him. It's funny. The big thing about David, like the worst thing he ever did was he lusted after this woman, and then he sent her husband to die so that he could be with her. But God's still like, oh, I still like David. But Saul, don't give me sacrifices from the people you murder. That's the biggest thing. But God's priorities are they're messed up. I'm just gonna say it. God doesn't really seem to have the right priorities, does he? Like, you can murder a lady's husband, but don't give me a bad offering. I don't know. Maybe those are just like, yeah, whatever. I don't know. I just don't like the morality. And I've talked about that before, so I'm not going to do it again. Saul wanted to kill David. So once Saul kind of finds out David has been anointed by Samuel and God, he wants to kill David because he's like, well, I'm the king. But David kills Goliath, and he becomes kind of like this folk hero, and all the Israelites love him because they're like, oh, we killed all the Philistines, and he killed this giant. And then David marries Saul's daughter, which is interesting. And then Saul's son is like best buds with David, Jonathan. And he helps him escape a couple times because he knows like what his dad's gonna do. There's a door over here, but I don't know where. Then David. I mentioned. Did I mention before? I think I said once like they should make Kings into a movie or something. But I forgot. There was a TV show called Kings, which is exactly that, and I had seen it. It was like from 2008 or something. I remember liking it, but they only made one season. It was a modern retelling of Saul and David's story. Because it is a really cool story. They have this really interesting relationship where Saul wants to kill David, but Saul kind of grows to respect David because he's like this cool guy, and he plays a lyre, and he kills Goliath, and everybody loves him, and Saul wants to be a good king, so he's like, well, if everybody loves him, I can't really kill him. But he kind of wants to kill him because he sees him as like a big threat. So there was a show called Kings that was pretty good, I think. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I remember thinking it was cool. I gotta end. So that's it for the Bible stuff. Saul wanted to kill David, but his son helps him escape to the wilderness. I'm covering up my pimple. I have more notes. Just my, I'm not going to do any more Bible stuff this week. But just my reading of Wikipedia, like learning about... I had talked about before how, like, Moses... The idea is, like, Moses wrote the Old Testament. So I was reading about that. There's a couple of theories about how the Old Testament and the Torah came together. The most recent theory Wikipedia says is called the supplemental theory, which was that during the Babylonian exile, which I'll get to later, these people kind of compiled a bunch of old oral traditions and written traditions, and it's like the 7th century BC, and that's when that was like when the first Torah was compiled from all these different sources. And so if you're a Christian, I guess you could still say, well, maybe one of the sources was Moses. But they say, like, there was revisions, and some of the sources had knowledge of things like current events, so couldn't have really been Moses. Like current Babylonian, Assyrian events. And it's just, I just started reading that today about the Deuteronomist history and the Deuteronomist sources and the Yahwehist source and the priestly source, and how they kind of all combined it into the Torah, the Pentateuch. It's interesting. Anyway, see ya tomorrow. Thanks for enduring my Babylonian babble. See you tomorrow. Bye.